Hello, my name is Cyrus Patell, and I'm here to talk about my capstone project. For my capstone, I made an app called Receipt Saver. Receipt Saver produces a QR code, and the user would scan the QR code with their phone, and by scanning the QR code, they would be able to save a copy of the receipt to their phone. The goal of this is really just to eliminate the need of printing receipts. In its current form, it actually adds on to the printing, but once people would get used to it, I think stores would buy monitors for which they could just display the QR code, and people could just scan it and save not only that store some money, but they could also save the environment this way and make it easier to track what they're doing. So first, I want to talk about QR codes very quick. So QR code is a quick response code. It's just a 2D barcode. So as we know, with a 1D barcode with all the lines, it just can only be scanned either horizontally or vertically. So it doesn't store that much data. Whereas a QR code uses both horizontal and vertical, and it can store hundreds of times more data than a barcode. The way it does this is it has a few special features, such as these red squares on the top right, the top left, and the bottom left. These act as like positions. So the QR code scanner knows all three of those need to be within scan for the scan to be complete. And it knows the orientation. Notice at the bottom right, big square big square red area is missing. That means when the scanner sees the other three, it knows which area is the bottom right and then can reorient the QR code, even though it's scanning up, let's say, at a 90-degree clockwise. So instead this is on its side. It'd still be able to read it just fine, whereas if you did that with the barcode, you would not be able to scan anything. You'd just get nothing. The other cool feature about a QR code, is that it has error detection built into it. Depending on the level of error detection, you can lose anywhere from 7% to 30% of the QR code and have it still be scannable and readable and it would work just fine. Now, this is stored in the little green areas right next to the red position markers. And this is also another smart thing of them. They put the error detection in multiple places, so if you happen to lose the one little area that had the error detection, you wouldn't be losing all the error detection. So instead of it just saying, you can lose up to 30% or this one little green area, now it's actually just 30%. Lastly, the blue area just tells the scanner what QR code version it is. So the lower the version, the smaller the amount of data and the smaller the QR code. So meaning just how many essentially pixels big or squares big the QR code is. So when I first decided to make Receipt Saver, it was just for convenience because I shop at Walmart a lot when I'm at college, and as you can see on the bottom of the receipt, they have a QR code at the bottom. You scan that and you have a digital copy of your receipt. Now, when I bought a book for one of my friends for Christmas, I realized I had purchased the wrong edition and I wanted to go back and return the book to Barnes & Noble's. But I just immediately threw out the receipt when I got it because I figured, oh, it's just, it's a gift. I'm going to need no need to return it. Why waste holding on to this? So I immediately threw it out. Unfortunately, I found out I got the wrong edition, so I had to go and return it. Luckily, I used my credit card, so they could scan my credit card and see transactions done, and then find the transaction and reverse it. That took about 5 minutes, but still, it's 5 minutes that could have been avoided by having something like this, or me not being an idiot and throwing out my receipt. But this lets me throw out my receipt and no longer be an idiot. But then when I did research on receipts, I was kind of disgusted. So in the US every year, we produce 512 billion pounds of waste. Of those 512 billion, 1.5 billion is due just to receipts. That's 0.3% of all of our waste is just because of receipts. Because honestly, who uses them? You get one at the cash register and you just immediately throw it out. There are very few purchases that actually warrant a receipt. It's just a giant waste, a waste that could easily be avoided. It uses 10 million trees, 1 billion gallons of water, and 250 million gallons of oil. All of this would not have to be spent just to print out receipts that would be immediately thrown out. The other thing that I've been told push businesses to go for something like Receipt Saver is not only is it a good PR move because it's about being green and it's actually good for the earth and everything, and that they actually should because it is good for the earth, but they can also get more information on their users with big data, and they can also open source that information to, let's say, Apple or Amazon or something and sell it to them. So by them storing this, they could be able to see what a person is scanning via QR codes and what they have and what they usually shop for. Much like how you usually get targeted on Amazon for something you like, they'll probably lower the price a little bit or they'll show it to you so that you're more likely to buy it. So I want to quickly talk about how this program works. Essentially, you have this string array on the right side, and that's what the QR code has. So it just goes in sections goes blank, then store name, blank, 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 blank. Then it goes item name, SKU, price, item name, SKU, price, item name, SKU, price. Then eventually it leaves a space. Has the calculated subtotal, calculated tax, and calculated total. Now the reason why there's all these gaps, I'll explain right here. It's because I needed to divide this into 3 arrays so that I could have the receipt show up as it does on this screenshot. So I put anything with the remainder of 0 if you divide by 3 into array 1, anything with the remainder of 1 into array 2, anything with the remainder of 2 into array 3. So by doing this, I just cut up the receipt into smaller string arrays, which then hold all the information and let me format it how I want. So, this is the reason why I'm doing this. As you can see on the left picture, I'm showing you how I'm dividing up the screen, and then I'm showing you how it affects the screenshot. So the oranges, I said I'd take up 2 of the 20 sections are dedicated to the height. So take up 10% of the height at the very top. And then I said for the bottom button, take up 2 of the 20, so only take up 10%. And I told the middle blue part, take up 16 of the 20, so I'll take up 80% of the screen. And by doing this, I'm able to format it just how I like. And it'll always be the same exact way on every phone. Now, what I really ran an issue into was saving and deleting. The way the app currently saves receipts is it will check, in this case, if we have receipts 1 through 8 over here. You start up the app, you go to scan a receipt, you go to scan a receipt, and it'll say, okay, check if receipt 1 exists. Receipt 1 exists? Okay, check if receipt 2 exists. And it keeps counting up like this to 3 to 4 5 to 6. So it gets to receipt 7. So does receipt 7 exist? Does receipt 8 exist? Yes. Does receipt 9 exist? No. Okay, create a receipt 9. Now, this is mostly made because we have no way of storing the date time on the receipt, so it's hard to keep track of how old it is. So instead I just do it by when it was scanned and assume the user is scanning a newer receipt. So the issue that happens though is if I were to just delete a file when I wanted to delete a receipt, and let's say I got rid of 4, I would now have the app start and it would say, okay, receipt 1 exists, receipt 2 exists, receipt 3 exists, oh, receipt 4 doesn't exist, create receipt 4. So the new receipt would go into receipt 4. But the issue is now, when I order them, it should really be receipt 9. but instead it's going to be all the way down at 4, so it's out of order. And if I did this, whenever a user deleted a receipt, they'd be messing up the entire order. So in order to avoid this, what I actually did is the first value in the array, if we look back, it's supposed to be blank. I actually set the delete button that what it does is it sets that first array value to deleted, and by doing this I am able to keep the receipt so it won't skip over the number, while also deleting the receipt, because in the receipt viewer section of the app it'll always check that first string array. If it says deleted, it knows to skip over it. So to the user it looks deleted, but it's still on their phone, so that way there's a placeholder so it doesn't replace a receipt in that area. Okay.